All right, we're recording now.
All right.
So welcome to our time management session. My name is Marcella Grant. I am moderating this particular session here. I'm with the STEM Center as the Assistant Project Director, and I will hand it off to Dina and the others to introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dina Zidan. I am an instructional aide specifically for math in the Learning Center, and I will be presenting on time management and online study skills. Does anybody else introduce themselves?
Yeah, Yolanda, would you like to introduce yourself to the students, and then the students can introduce themselves?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Yolanda, and I am a peer mentor for Bridge to Opportunity, and I am majoring in civil engineering.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Diego Ceballos. I'm a mentor for BTO, Bridge to Opportunity. I'm a rhetoric major with a minor of global poverty. And it's nice to meet you, y'all.
We hear from the students now. Anyway, if you guys would like to go first and introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Paola, and I'm an art major. Yeah, I'm doing art.
Welcome.
Hi, Paula.
Hi, my name is Melanie, and I'm trying to major in psychology.
Welcome, welcome. And then we have Maria that's in the chat. She said she is studying early childhood education. Welcome, Maria.
All right. So I think we'll go ahead and get started. Marcella kind of gave the, just the upfront that, we are going to be recording this session. So if you don't feel comfortable, to just turn your camera off. However, I will highly encourage you to actually turn your camera on. As you start to take classes at Kenyatta, a lot of your professors might actually comment on the level of the number of people that don't have their cameras on. It also really does help to build connections in our new online format when you can actually see someone's face. I know it's virtual. I know we're all sitting in different environments, probably in different cities, maybe in different counties, depending on where we've gone as a result of the pandemic, but just being able to see someone's face and, get to know them that way I highly encourage that. So if you guys feel comfortable, nobody's going to judge your room. If you feel like the background you have, as far as your physical background, is not one you're comfortable sharing, please turn on a virtual background. Diego, Marcella, Yolanda, and myself all have virtual Colts-CON backgrounds, but Zoom has lots of fun ones. Maybe pick a background that inspires you. It's a piece of art, or it's a quote. Maybe it's a picture you took while on vacation many moons ago. Just something that you feel comfortable, because we would love to see you guys, and then that way when you guys see us, we can see you. And
at the top of the Day One Colts-CON site, there is a link where you can download the Colts-CON virtual background that Dina has if you would like to use that.
Thank you, Melanie. So as we continue, the first part of this, actually most of this is going to be me mainly talking, and also you guys are going to be responding to, hi Paola, thank you for turning your camera on. And if your camera doesn't work, then that's fine, because sometimes technology does not cooperate, and we can all understand that. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of me talking, because I think time management and online study skills are really individual based. I think it would be a little unfair if I just told you this is how you should manage your time, and not take into account the fact that some of you might have kids at home. Some of you still might be essential workers and are physically leaving the house to go to work and still have to go to school. Or there's only one computer amongst you and your family, and your kids are in school, or somebody else is taking classes as well. So I really want to get to know you guys and the kinds of lives you're living, as it pertains to time management and online study skills, so that we can actually build a plan that works for you specifically, rather than just, this is what the experts say, adapt to your life. I don't like that approach. So if you can turn your mic on, which I know earlier we said if we weren't talking, we would keep our mics off, but I'm going to be asking you guys some questions, and I actually want you to answer them honestly. And make sure you have, I'm super old school. Virtual background doesn't help. I write on pen and paper. I use pencil because my mom drilled it into me that you can't erase pen, but you can erase pencil. And I was like, Mom, you grew up without whiteout. We have whiteout. She didn't appreciate that joke, but it's cool. If you are more technology savvy, you can use an iPad. I have an iPad with an Apple Pencil. Whatever works for you. If you want to take notes on the side, make sure you basically have something you can take notes, because we're going to be building a plan together. So the first question I have is, how many people have kids at home? You could raise your hand, say me. Dogs count as kids. Diego. Okay. Paula. Great. So kids take time, regardless of fur baby or otherwise. Maria does not have kids. That's perfect. So in your schedule, you have to think about, okay, how much time do my kids, regardless of who they are, what they are, take? We'll come back to that in a second, but just something to start thinking about. Second, how many people have one computer that you have to share amongst multiple people in the household? Perfect. You all have your own dedicated piece of technology. That makes it so much easier. How many people are taking 12 or more units in the fall semester? Okay, Melanie, Yolanda. Okay, so 2 full-time students. That's a lot. We're gonna have to think about some strategies to not only be effective in our time, but to also recognize that every minute of our day does not have to be filled with something. I'm not a huge advocate of that, because sitting on the couch is also a great experience, and I highly recommend we do that. How many people have actually set up a study space already and are super proactive and are like, I already have this, I don't need this, but I'm just here for the support? Nobody set up a study space at home? Oh, Yolanda, okay. My workspace is my couch. I'm a bad person to talk to about this. I have no space to set up a desk. It's okay. How many have a plan to study, or excuse me, how many have a plan to stay organized? This also includes time. How many people have sat and thought about, I know the kind of person I am, I know the kind of habits I have, I know that it takes me 2 hours to do the dishes because I hate it. How many people have thought about that? Diego has, Melanie has. Sweet. We've got some proactive thinkers. Yolanda has. This is excellent. How many people have a study plan? No. That's okay. How many people recognize I am taking X units, it requires this much work from me in a normal setting? How do we adapt this to an online setting where, like some people, I can go 3 days without leaving my house? Not healthy, but can happen. Okay, how many people think they have a study and organization plan, but haven't actually fully formed it and could recite it back to me? No? Nobody can recite their plan back? Not that I'm trying to call you out on your plan.
A what?
A study plan, an organization plan that you can say to me. Basically what this tells me and what this tells you is you've thought about it, you've planned it, and you've basically completed it so much so that you can say it out loud and it's fully conceptualized.
No.
No, it's hard. It's really hard. Okay. those are the big questions that we're going to try and get all of you guys to kind of think about and to use as stepping stones to building a plan that's appropriate for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now jump on the iPad. I'm going to share a note screen with you guys to kind of show you how a plan, as we've discussed, as it relates to things that you guys have brought up. So some of you guys are taking 12 or more units. Some of you guys have children, whether they be two-legged or four-legged, or no legs. You could have snakes and fish. They take time too. And we're going to work on, some of you work, and some of you work by leaving the house. Some of you work by staying at home. We're going to bring all of that together so that you guys can actually write a plan down so that when we're done with this, you actually feel like you have something that you can hang on to and will help you throughout what we're dealing with. Okay, let me just situate myself. Okay, share the screen. Okay. Can you all see my little OneNote screen? It has a purple border at the top. Awesome. Okay. Let's go ahead and think about just what it takes us as individuals to live our life and keep our responsibilities of life moving outside of school, because those things still have to happen in order for you guys to maintain your secondary schedule, which would be school. I know we always say school comes first, but if your house isn't clean, if you don't have clean underwear, if you don't have clean dishes, if you don't have clean things that you need to live your life, you won't be able to focus on school effectively. So if we were to think about this in terms of me, and then I want you guys to think about it in terms of you, I need to do the dishes every day. That's something that Dina needs to do in order for her to feel like her life can move forward. So that's something we're going to write down. Think of something that you need, one thing that you need in your life to feel like you've actually accomplished something today as far as housekeeping. And if you want to share, you can interrupt me. You can just say it. You can ask me a question. You don't have to raise your hand. You are free to speak. I want to hear what you guys have to say. So doing dishes is a life necessity for me. So this is daily. Okay? Another thing I have to do. For my dogs, my children, they have to be walked daily and taken out to the bathroom 3 times outside of the walk. They don't go to the bathroom on their walks. It's a whole training thing. So, walk dogs, potty 3 times. For those of you that have family that are living with you, or for those of you that have dogs, children, what have you, I know this seems very rudimentary, but when it comes to building a schedule for yourself, you really have to break down what is absolutely necessary to not only ensure their life continues, but to ensure that you can also dedicate enough time to them so they don't feel neglected, but that it's not taking up all of your time, okay? Those are things that I absolutely feel like I need to do in order to feel like my day has made some kind of, I've experienced some kind of accomplishment, okay? In this framework, what do you guys feel you need to do in order for your day to feel like it has meaning?
Well, I cook every day, so that's one of the things that I actually do every day because I don't like eating out.
Okay.
And I do exercise every morning to just get the day started and get myself energized for the day.
Yes.
So I do those things.
That's excellent. Thank you so much, Yolanda, for sharing. So Yolanda, in order for her day to feel like it's actually done something productive outside of school, exercising every morning, which I need to do more of, but you know, it's cool, and cooking every day, because eating out's expensive. It can be unhealthy. It can be, at this point, depending on what you do, a bit of a health risk because you're going out, you're interacting with people, the list goes on and on. Anybody else want to share what they feel like they need to accomplish in order to feel like their day has been fulfilled?
Sure, I can share. Well, of course, feed my dog and take him out, go to the skate park, which is on the same line. And if I don't do that, I feel like my day's off. So.
Yeah. So going to the skate park not only gets you out, gets you physically moving, fresh air. And so that's excellent. So Diego feels like he has to go out and do that. And I can't skateboard. If I'm on a board, anything that kind of goes forward and I don't use my feet, I just fall over. So we avoid those things.
I also think that the reason why I do it that way, they said to get your stuff done, then reward yourself. I feel like if I don't reward myself first, I'm not going to get things done. So I apply it in the opposite way. I go have fun, do my thing, get exhausted, and then I can focus.
I like that you mentioned that, Diego, because it is important that we reward ourselves. And I know that seems very rudimentary, like, oh, I put my socks away, I can have a piece of candy. But that really does help you stay motivated. And Diego, who's very aware of his habits and who he is as a person, recognizes that, no, I need to do something fun for me first before I go out and do something. And if you're like that, please eat the candy first. Please go to the skate park first. Please paint your toenails first. I don't care what it is that makes you feel like you've earned it, but do it. Okay. This right here are the things that we need to do in order to feel like our day has actually done something. It sounds like a lot of us do these things in the morning. I do the dishes in the morning because then they're out of the way and my kitchen's clean and beautiful. And I walk my dogs and do what they need to do in the morning. And I feel like, okay, great. Now I can focus on what I need to do throughout the day. So I work, I don't go to school. How many of you are working and going to school? Diego, Melanie, Yolanda. I know we have a couple of other people below. Ooh, breaking news. Nobody wants to read that right now. Maria, Paula, do you guys work at all? Okay.
Yeah, I work, but I don't go to school yet.
You don't go to school yet. Okay, so this is perfect for you because then we can kind of figure out like what time does our work take from us and what time is school going to potentially take from you. So for those of us with a work schedule, I know we're doing this a little backwards, but those are the things that we kind of need more to solidify so that we can find time to fill in other things as needed. So the next thing we need to figure out is the work schedule. So I do have better handwriting in person, but the iPad seems to disagree. The work schedule. During the summer, I specifically work Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Okay, when we go back to school in the fall, so this is summer schedule. In the fall, it's Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 p.m. Okay. Just because I work doesn't mean I neglect personal hygiene, brushing teeth, deodorant. Those are important. So yes, this is the work schedule. So what do I need to do to make sure that I am in a work environment and I'm being productive at my job? The best thing you guys can do for yourselves, and I'm sure you guys have heard people say this a lot, continue your routine. If your routine is to get up every morning and shower, do that. If your routine is to get up and go run a block in your pajamas and come back and that's how you seize your day, do it. Don't take this, oh, well, I'm going to sit on the couch anyway. Nobody's going to see me approach to then not continue your routine, because then you won't be as effective. So Melanie, I don't mean to call you out, but I know you leave to go to work. You shared with us earlier that you have a job outside of the home. What do you have to do ahead of being at work at a certain time to make sure you're ready for work? You are muted. There you go.
The days I work in the afternoons, I usually work out in the mornings, and then I just make like myself like a protein shake or something, and I'm ready to go basically.
Okay. What about commute time?
I drive there.
You drive there, and it takes you 15 minutes,
Like
20 minutes?
no, 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Okay. So you would probably have to get ready for work, what, an hour before, so that you could leave 30 minutes before, so you could punch in on time?
Yeah.
All of the steps that lead to the actual event have to be taken into consideration when building a schedule. It's not enough to just have a schedule that reads like mine does, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5:30 p.m. Your schedule needs to read, well, it takes me 30 minutes to shower. And in there, that's the teeth brushing, hair drying, makeup putting, clothes wearing, 30 minutes. And then in Melanie's case, she has a 30-minute commute. That also has to be broken in. So she might start work at, we'll just say 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We know it's well past 1 o'clock, but let's just say your work starts at 1 o'clock. You need to be getting ready at 12 o'clock. So it wouldn't make sense for you to have something going on at 12 o'clock that's part of your getting ready time. Does that make sense? So that's the work schedule. And my dog is staring right at my face, so if I look like I'm uncomfortable, it's because she's staring at me. So next, we have school around this. Now we have to build in school. So some of you are taking full-time units, some of you might be taking part-time units, some of you might just be taking one class. And how many of you think if the lectures are being recorded, you don't have to physically attend the lecture if it's online? It's not a trick question, but I feel like I have to ask. Diego's like, no, I'm going to be in that class. It's happening.
I won't even watch the video if I don't show up to the class, even if it's recorded. So I
Yeah.
have to keep myself accountable.
Okay, accountability, excellent. Okay, for those of us that feel and don't want to share, which is totally fine, that you're just going to watch the class lecture because it's recorded, don't. Diego's absolutely right. If you have a class that's scheduled from, this is just an example, if your class is scheduled from 9 to 9:50 in the morning, Monday through Friday, you need to be up, dressed, even if it's just a nice shirt on top and sweats on the bottom, because I've done that before and it's a game changer. Teeth brushed, coffee consumed, breakfast eaten, protein shake, whatever it takes you on a normal day to get out of the house and into a class that starts at 9, all of that needs to be done ahead of the class so that at 8:58, you're sitting at the Zoom waiting for the professor to open the lecture. This is a very temporary situation that we're all in right now. And if this is your first time coming to school, it's your first time coming back to school, and this is the environment you're coming into, these habits are essential because they're not going to last. The bad habits won't last you through coming back to school when we're back in in-person instruction. And if you're not the kind of person who likes online instruction to begin with, and you would have never chosen that for yourself, we need to get you as close to in-person instruction habits so that they transfer very well when you get back to that. Does that make sense to everybody? Anybody have any questions? Anybody like, this is great, Dina, but how do I do that? I don't want to do this. Maybe this isn't the best thing for me. Maybe I'll just go back to school when the pandemic's over. Anybody having like nervous, paranoid thoughts? How many people are like, I just want to take a nap? Okay, cool. We are all in this together and I'm loving every minute of it. Who here now, with what we've been doing on their paper, on their computer, on their whatever, has a, you know, broad schedule forming? Nobody? Nobody has a schedule kind of like coming together, recognizing like my classes are here, my work is here, I need to count the holes in the ceiling because that's my me time from this time to this time. No, okay, that's okay. We'll get to that. Another thing I want you guys to think about is me time. Now, I'm gonna do me time in a different color because I think it's very important. How many people live alone? But scroll to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Okay. So if you didn't answer that you live alone, it means you live with someone. How many people live with someone that is also at home with them every day because they have work that has moved to remote style work? Okay, Paula has somebody that lives with her and is, okay. I don't know about you guys. I'm very blessed that I don't have that situation. If my partner stayed home with me all day, I probably would have shot him months ago. This is full disclosure. I love him to death. Yes, we're going to get married, but oh my God, I need my me time. And that's not to sound selfish. It's not to sound selfish. Don't think about, oh my God, I'm taking like 20 minutes to read an article. Read the dang article. If it's going to make you happy, if it's going to make you feel like you have a renewed sense of energy. This goes back to the things that we feel we need to accomplish to give our day purpose. If Diego doesn't go to the skate park, he might not feel motivated to do anything. And then you bring in this cycle of like, well, what's the point? I didn't get to do this, so why should I do that? And well, that can wait for me until tomorrow. And well, you know, whatever, that's not important. And I'll just do it tomorrow. I have news for you. Tomorrow is coming tomorrow. And if you're not going to get out of it, tomorrow will come again and you still won't do it. That's not to say you should be dishonest and just force yourself into doing something you don't want to do. Me time for me, I fell out of love with reading books and I don't know why I did that, but now I'm back into it, thank God, so much happier. So me time includes the following. Reading, I'm reading an awesome book right now. Knitting, I know I'm 85 on the inside, don't make fun of me. And letter writing, I have family that lives internationally and I find it very enjoyable to write letters to them and they actually respond, which is nice. And tell them about how COVID is impacting my life, the country we live in. They tell me how it's impacting their life in the country they live in, how they're adjusting to shelter in place as it pertains to them, how they're adjusting to all kinds of different things. Your me time can include things that involve other people. But if you have somebody that lives with you, you might need to be a bit more firm about what me time you take, because maybe your partner, I'm guilty of this, I'm like, you're home, so we have 7 projects we have to do right now. And that's great that you want some me time, but I need this done now. Don't be like me. Probably not the best way to get things done. So when you have somebody that lives with you, think about when you would feel most comfortable having your me time. How long is it going to take you to write a letter, knit 12 rows, read 3 chapters, whatever you think would be appropriate to really feel like you can decompress, you can collect yourself. Oh, that's another thing. Reading also goes with drinking tea. what are your me time activities? Who wants to share a me time activity?
I said I usually practice doing my makeup because I'm not so good at it. And then I also said like watching some TV.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So Melanie, when you watch TV, are you watching a specific show? Is this just I need something on in the background?
It's a specific show.
Okay. Do you get to watch on demand or do you have to DVR?
Netflix.
Yes, on demand. So another thing to consider, if your me time involves something that's time sensitive, look into DVRing. It's excellent. Because you don't want, your me time activity should not revolve necessarily around the time the activity happens, but around when you feel it would be the most effective for you. So if you feel like at 1:30, you're halfway through the day, and you just can't go anymore, and you could really use 45 minutes of reading, that should be when your me time is. Or I really need to just watch this comedy skit because I just really need to be uplifted. And the comedy skit aired last night, you recorded it, watch it when it's appropriate for you. You don't have to be like, oh, it's on right now, I need to watch it right now. You don't want your me time activities to actually stress you out. You want them to help you. Okay? That makes sense to everybody? Any questions so far? I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but you guys are doing great. And it sounds like you guys are actually writing stuff down, which is so exciting. We'll wrap up this section and then we will move on to online study skills in just a second. So how many of you guys set up a desk space, student space, a place that isn't your couch or bed? Ooh, go Power. To do your work, your school work. Yolanda has, she's on top of it. My mom, bless this woman's heart, was like, you will have a desk even if it kills you. And I was like, oh, that's excellent. I had a desk my whole life. Become an adult and graduate college, no desk. I did not learn. Don't tell my mom. So we're gonna take a little tour. I am gonna turn the virtual background off, and it's okay. As soon as I stop sharing, and we're actually gonna mock build a space together because I have a table full of crap, and this is gonna help you guys identify spaces in your home that you might be able to look at and repurpose temporarily. We're not getting rid of stuff, but just to recognize like, okay, I can do this for a few weeks, a few months, and then I can have my like beautiful table back, whatever it is. So we're going on a little tour of my house. It's not very big. Okay. This is my table. Okay. Actually, if I was smart, I would do this. Okay. Can you all see the lovely table that we're working with here? Got a bookcase. I look very academic. This table is filled with crap I wholeheartedly should not have on my table. Okay, I have some 3-drawer organizers down here. Some of them actually have some academic stuff. Can you go back into the kitchen? Sorry. So, first things first. My knees cannot fit here. And then if I try and sit here, I'm gonna be too far away from the table. Ergonomics is important. You can't be setting yourself up to then end up with like, you know, some spinal issues by the end of the pandemic, because then that's doctor's fees, that's expensive, that's time. Nobody has time for that. Figure out where you can move your stuff. I have a little space in front of the furnace actually, and since it's hot as crap in my apartment, I'm definitely not running the furnace. I can move one of these over there so that I can use this chair that's holding pictures to actually sit at this desk, at this table, which is now going to become a desk, so I can actually be efficient at my job. Okay? I highly recommend IKEA for all things furniture because this table actually has a leaf that extends out. and it has it on both sides. And no, I don't side hustle for IKEA. But this allows for a couple of things. One, let's say you need 2 monitors to feel like you're fully effective at what you're doing. So you're gonna need 2 monitors and a keyboard. Or you want room to have paper and books. So you don't wanna end up in a situation where you're trying to maximize on space. So now we have all this extra space and it's super nice and it's still a mess because Dina's a slob. You wanna make sure that you maximize on what you have and get pieces that are versatile, that can do and serve different purposes. This was supposed to be a table that we eat at. We do none of that at this table. But that's why we got it with this extending leaf, so that we can actually fit people and food and whatever. So this table holds paper, predominantly paper. What do you need to be an effective student when you are trying to do your work? What I highly recommend is, this is from the desk set my mother bought me years ago. Thanks, Mom. Have pens and paper ready and at your station. This is essential because you're gonna need to write shit down. Write it down with stuff. I don't know if you're like me, but I do like to staple my things together so that I can have everything compiled together. Find things that you have around your house. I didn't go out and buy these for today. I've had this stapler for God knows how long. Works great. You need that. Notebook to write on, because if you're listening to a lecture, you don't want to keep swiping to the Word document to type your notes out. Just write them down on a piece of paper. I don't care if you can't read your own handwriting. You will learn to read your own handwriting, or your handwriting will improve. Write it down. Don't type it out. Write stuff down. You are going to feel like it's actually sticking so much better if you write it down versus type it out. Because how many people can type without looking at the keyboard? Yeah, it was a skill I was so proud of that I had. I was like, yes, I can type without looking. Okay. How many people can write well and on a straight line and it's all legible without looking at the piece of paper? Exactly. You have to be fully engaged in the writing in order to be effective at it versus typing. The computer's doing all the work for you. So that's another important study skill, is write it down. You can digitize it later if you want to, and then that just reinforces the learning because you have to look at it anyway, but make sure you write it down. If you're taking an English class, have the book with you, next to you. I like pretty bookmarks. They make me motivated. Get a pretty bookmark. And get a bookshelf. You don't want to end up in a situation where your whole life is like piling next to you because you have a chemistry book and a biology book and 7 English textbooks, because reading 7 books in a semester sounds like everybody's idea of a good time. You want to have a bookshelf where you can stay organized, which mine is multi-purpose. There's a puzzle in there. I keep my user manuals in there. But I've organized my textbooks. So the top shelf is books I had when I was in college. The middle shelf is books I'm just very passionate about and enjoy reading. And the bottom one is cookbooks. So keep everything organized. It'll be so much easier for you guys to find everything once you know where it is. Stick to your organization. If you cook more often than I do, like Yolanda does, maybe she wants her cookbooks on the top shelf because she doesn't want to have to break her back every time to pick them up. Whatever works for you, okay? And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm going to be staring at a wall if I set up this desk. And that sounds very depressing. Put a picture up. Turn the table around. because there's a big fat window in front of me that's causing some light issues. Set up your space as it would be so that you're actually fully motivated to study well and study focused. If you're like me and you like to watch things go out the window, maybe don't face the window. Maybe just put up a poster. If you have a dog like I do, have your dog sit next to you. They'll love you for petting them the entire time you're focusing on differential equations or whatever the beautiful things you guys study. Okay? Any questions? Who now feels like they might know how to set up a study space a little bit better? Or maybe redo their study space? How many people are going to go out and buy a table from IKEA like the one I have? IKEA's great.
Maybe.
Maybe that bookshelf is also from IKEA. Thanks, Mom. So we went through how to set up a space. We went through how to set up a schedule as it relates to you guys and your own life. This includes what it takes to get you to go to work, however you go to work. This includes me time, which is so important. This also includes things that we need to do in our day to feel like we are totally fulfilled. And the one thing I want you guys to know before we switch into online study skill habits is your schedule does not have to be packed. From the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, you don't need like, okay, breathe 7 times in a minute and, no. Don't do that to yourself. You will drive yourself crazy. Your schedule needs to have what is essential for you. And if there are blocks of time that are empty, be spontaneous in filling them at that point. Enjoy the fact that you still have control over your life. You don't have to be going all the time. Here's a prime example. Yesterday, I finally made it to electronics recycling because they were open. I ran a bunch of errands, I did laundry, I cleaned, and then I came home and it was 3:30. And I was like, well, now what do I do? I sat and read a book. I didn't have anything else that I needed to do. I sat and read my book, and then I got up and continued doing something else. None of those last 2 things were scheduled. What I had scheduled in the day was laundry and errands, and that was it. And just getting the chance to decide what I wanted to do really helps you feel motivated to continue to do other things. So, now that I've given you my life lessons and we're all going to be successful, we're going to move on to some online study skills because I think these are essential. How many of you don't like taking online classes? Yeah, I hate it. I've had to TA online classes and they're just not the same. I know the professors are trying their utmost and they're doing a phenomenal job, but it's kind of lonely. So what can you do to ensure that you actually study well? Diego recognizes that if he does not watch the lecture when it happens, it's not happening. Force yourself to watch the lecture. Turn off the TV. I know that's hard because Wendy Williams comes on at 10 and I'm fully awake at 10 and she's kind of fun to watch. Put your phone away. I don't care if your best friend in life finally found their missing sock. Put the phone away. Don't go into the kitchen. You need nothing from the kitchen unless your class is like from 11 to 1 and you're going to die of starvation. But you don't need to go into the kitchen. Go to the bathroom before class starts. All of the things that you would have normally done while in class and physically on campus, your kitchen doesn't come with you to campus. Trust me. You have that self and mental discipline to do at home. Take notes by hand. If you have to sit on your hands because the moment your hands are free from your lap, you're going to be swiping through everything. That's something you have to think about. And set boundaries with people that live in the home with you. Boundaries are important regardless, but Mom, I'm studying. Mom, I'm in class. I'm blaming my mom for a lot. She's actually really understanding. Significant other, I really need to just get through this lecture and then I can help you with it is whatever that you need. Pretend like you're just not home. Because if you were in person, you wouldn't be home anyway, and they would have had to have dealt with it without you. Maintain those boundaries. Maintain the fact that your academics do come first. Does that make sense? Any questions? Anybody think of like, oh, this happens in my life and I'm not really good at staying focused because something. If not, that's all I got for you guys. I really hope this was helpful.
Thank you, Dina.
No problem.
We appreciate those tips. It's pretty awesome. One thing we forgot to do was to take attendance. So if you guys can type your first and last name in the chat, that'd be great before you go. Are there any questions for Dina or for the peer mentors here, or peer mentors, or is there anything that you guys want to add? Any advice for the students as they approach the fall semester online? Because you guys have pretty much already experienced the online, well, half a semester in the spring. So if there's any tips you guys want to offer up to the students, please do so.
The only thing I would say is that please attend class when class starts. Do not go for the recordings later on, because a lot of people have done that and it has not run down well for them. So please attend class at the time. It also gives you an opportunity to ask questions from your professor. So yeah.
Students, if you guys have any questions, please don't be shy. This is your time to ask. We don't have the answers for you. We'll get the answers to you.
Yeah.
So feel free to ask anything you like.
This is what it's going to be like in class. Your teacher's going to ask you, do you have any questions? Don't sit silent if you actually have a question. And if it's really noisy where you live or in your household, just type it in the chat. The professors are totally understanding, as are we all.
Yeah. Our job is really, to make sure that you guys have what you need to succeed. So help us help you. Help us do our job.
Yes. We can't do our job if you don't ask questions.
Yeah.
I must have done a really good job then if nobody
Must have.
That's amazing. Nailed that one. Or I scared them from going to school. It's a toss-up between the two. Well, it was nice to meet all of you virtually, and it was good to see Marcella, Diego, and Yolanda again, even if it was virtually.
Yes, thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Dina, again for your time. Thank you, Diego and Yolanda. It's a pleasure to meet you students, Melanie, Paola, and Maria. You guys have a successful semester. Do you guys know what the next modules are? I don't think I have them pulled up yet. Peer mentors, do you know what module is next?
Actually, before we continue, Maria
Yeah,
just made a very good chat point. She says it's very hard for her to study in her house because she sees something that isn't organized and then she needs to do it. That is so key. Okay, here's how you tackle that. Couple things. Depending on where you study, keep that room specifically organized, because that's the room your whole face and your whole self is going to be looking at. So if you're studying, maybe you have a bedroom that's large enough to accommodate a desk. If you're studying in your bedroom, make your bed. Put your laundry away. Make sure there are no socks and shoes on the floor, and then shut the door. That's it. That space that you're in is organized. If you're like me and your bedroom can barely hold your bed, and you have to sit outside in your living room, which experiences a lot more chaos, figure out small projects that you say, okay, I at least put, my books away. And then that's enough for me to stay focused for a couple of hours. And then I can go and put the shoes away because my shoe rack is here. You know, make it manageable. Don't feel like you have to clean the entire room to feel like you can be successful. And then that way, it gives you the chance to study a little bit, get up and do something different. Stay in lecture, and then you can get up and finish a project. So not only are you still staying involved in school, but then you're also still feeling like you've done stuff for your house, which is always rewarding because we're sitting in our homes all day long. It's an excellent point. I hope that helped.
Thank you for asking that question, Maria. I have that issue as well. So thank you for that tip, Dina.
No problem. I hope I get to see you all in person again soon.
Same.
Yeah, we'll come to Shake Shack, Melanie.
For sure.
I'm gonna accomplish that real quick. I know what I'm doing after this.
Any more questions before we wrap up? The next module starts at 3:15. It's the cultural wealth activity. Something you surely want to check out. It's a really good activity to see. Really talks about, you know, how do you really think about what things about you that you bring to the table, and that you can use those to empower yourself and to learn and to contribute to other conversations and meet folks at the same time. That's what I know about it, but they'll tell you more there. Any more questions before we sign off? All righty. Thank you all.
Bye, everyone.
Pleasure to meet you guys.